Hey everybody, good morning. Amphibious Archaeology here, and today we have a very special video for you. We're starting a new series all about teaching you how to get into metal detecting. There's a lot of people out there that have interest in becoming a detectorist, but the big problem is there's such a disconnect between beginners and the professional hunters that we want to help guide you through this process.
And even intermediate. And I met a lot of people, they're not sure if they're wanting to get into it, so they need to know which beginner um, metal detector to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, I see a lot of people who, they'll go out and they'll buy their first detector and they'll get the special one, like the special Walmart deal for the $130 detector that, will detect metal, but it really doesn't offer you.
any discrimination or really any depth. And there's a big wide range of metal detectors out there that are very affordable and does everything that the bigger ones will do, just not at the same level, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So some of the options that you guys are going to see today, we're even going to take you onto one of our partners' websites just to show you, the price ranges you're looking at to get into this hobby, and also some of the, the more affordable options that are available to you if you're just starting out that offer you that same ability with the better detectors have. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next clip.
Hey everybody. So, now that we're at this point in the video, I wanted to take a little bit to show you the website of one of our biggest supporters. So, Kellyco is a massive online store that has everything you would need to get into the hobby of metal detecting. So, when you go to kellycodetectors.com, or alternatively, if you go to the link in the description of this video, you can click on that and then it'll take you straight to their site and you can see all of the options they have available. So this is today's site, the 31st, Halloween, and you can, on your own go through, do whatever you'd like, go through and look through some of the different options that they have. I would definitely recommend checking out more than just what I show you today. But to go through a few of the options that we talked about earlier in the video, I just wanted to walk you through because some of this stuff can get a little confusing. They have the top detector deals at the bottom, featured deals including a new Nocta Macro release for children, and the Garrett Apex, which is another good budget option, but we won't really cover that one today. So if you go to the top here and hover over metal detectors, you can come down here and search by brand. First of all, we're going to look at the Nocta Macro option because that's our beginner recommendation. Okay, so you can see that the Simplex, the basic version, no headphones, no frills, no nothing, is $254.15. So for this, you can get into metal detecting with a high-end detector, or at least one that will get you started. A lot of guys out there use the Simplex and they love them. Marcus is in our group and he uses his Simplex all the time. He talks very highly of both of his macro detectors, and honestly, they're a great option for anyone who's looking to start out and isn't quite sure that they want to make the big investment of some of the mid to high tier options. So I would personally recommend checking out the little bit more expensive option at $339.15. So this is going to come with headphones, a little bit of extra swag like a hat, and really, once you're getting into metal detecting, headphones are going to be a godsend for you. The headphones are necessary because without them, you're going to get a lot of outside chatter, and just any ambient noise is going to mess you up. So when you're first learning a machine and you're trying to get the hang of what each signal means and the strength of a signal and the depth of a signal, you're really going to want a nice set of headphones that pairs with your machine so you don't have to worry about outside noise messing you up. So if you're interested in this option, just click on the picture right here and you can see all of the highlights that they offer, and then you would click add to cart and go from there. So We'll talk about this a little bit afterwards, but make sure that you guys stick around to the end of the video, because if you think that this is something that you'd want or want to get into, any of the detectors you see today, I would strongly recommend emailing us at the email address down below in the description, and we'd love to help you with our special subscriber discount. And I trust me, guys, I understand when I say an entry level detector is 200 and $254, and that's a lot of money. And if you're hesitant about getting into this hobby, there are cheaper options, but I'm a firm believer of the old adage, buy once, cry once. So if you start off with something like the Simplex, you're going to start off with a machine that can compete with the rest of with the big boys, without having to spend that kind of money up front. So I think this is a great option. And next we're going to move on to some of the mid-tier metal detectors. All right, everybody. So now we're going to move on to our mid to high tier options, and these are going to be for either you detectors who have been going at it for a little while, or those who are looking to go all in on their first detector. So to look at some of the mid-range options really fast, we do want to cover the Garrett AT Pro, and the AT Pro series, or the AT series, is great. I started off myself with an AT Max, and I really loved the machine. I've changed a bit over time, and we'll talk about this in some of the future episodes, but I really enjoyed my Garrett, and I think it's a great starting detector for anyone looking to really dive headfirst into the hobby. This option's $552.45. I mean, with our discount, this stuff is going to be cheaper for you guys, but at the end of the day, this is a great starter, and it does come with some wired headphones. So the wired options are nice. They're nice because you don't have to worry about charging them every night when you get done hunting, and there's no connectivity issues because some of the other detectors, including my personal Equinox, I occasionally have pairing problems with the wireless headphones. But I will tell you that as you hunt and as you get into this sport, you're going to want wireless headphones. So as a starting option, the wired connection with the AT Pro is great, and you're not going to really run into any problems with that. But as you go, that cord is going to slow you down some. So to go back really fast to look at another option we have here in the mid-range detectors is the Nokta Makro Racer 2. So the options we're showing you guys are ones that we have all used, or at least someone in the group owns and loves. So we're not recommending just random items. We're showing you tried and true metal detectors that we know have found amazing coins and relics. So the Racer 2 package does come with quite a bit, including headphones, a carrying case, and some other odds and ends. And I think this is another great option, especially if you maybe started off with the Simplex and you want to stay with the same manufacturer. This would be the natural progression up, and it's a great starting option. And Marcus absolutely loves his Racer 2. So to look a little bit further, if you've been in the sport for some time and you're looking for that, the next big thing, or like the best detector you can get your hands on, most of the guys in the group would agree that the Equinox 800 is really the top of the line. You can go with the 600, and a lot of the guys use them. A lot of guys out there will use an Equinox 600, but we personally don't run one in our group, so it's not something that we want to push without having first-hand knowledge of, yes, this is great. But I'm sure that it's an awesome product, and many guys have found awesome relics with it. But myself, my dad, Richard, and also Roy, we all have an Equinox 800 and use them pretty much all the time. Roy, as you guys will see in most of the videos, Roy will switch back to his Garrett because he's so partial to it. But honestly, the Equinox is the best bang for your buck. Now, it is expensive. With a $900 price tag, you are looking at the top end of many people's budget. And I know that personally, it was a it was a hard pill to swallow, but it's one that I'm very very proud that I made. It's my favorite detector by far. It is easy to use. Contrary to popular belief, I went into metal detecting thinking that, the Minelabs are great, they're supposed to be so good, but they're so confusing to learn. Or if I started off with another machine, I'll never be able to get the hang of it. First hunt with my Equinox 800, I found silver with it. I got the hang of it. I can tell coin signals apart. It's really simple. You just have to understand the basics of the machine, and watching some videos like the ones that we are going to put out very soon will help you if you decide to go with the Minelab option. So if you guys, you've got the money to spend, or you really want to save up for like the cream of the crop detector, I can really only recommend the Equinox 800 or the Garrett AT Max, and these are going to be awesome options for you, especially if you plan to hunt the beach. Now, the Equinox 800 excels in the water, and you can hunt it with wet sand, have absolutely no problems. And the AT Max is going to be good for essentially anywhere that it's dry. Now, I have used mine, I will be honest, I've used mine in freshwater lakes and freshwater swimming holes and haven't had any issues with the sensitivity, but when you get around that salt water, you will start to notice some issues. So, it's up to you, it's up to what you want to do, but the detectors that we've recommended are your best bet for all around general purpose metal detecting. You want to go relic hunting in a park, go for it. You want to go hunt dry sand, all of the options will work perfectly. Now, if you want to get into some heavy duty beach hunting, I cannot stress enough that you are going to want to go with the Equinox. The 800 is going to be your best bet, your best chance of not having any issues regarding the saltwater. I mean, that is going to be where you want to stay. So, this video is a little shorter than what we would usually put out, but we think it's important that you look at the first step to get into metal detecting, and that is truthfully finding a detector that's right for you and right for your budget and also what you want to hunt. So the subsequent episodes of this series, the next one, we're going to show you all of the recommended detectors that we've discussed in this video, and give you a basic rundown of how to get it started. Let's say you bought the Equinox, or let's say you bought the Simplex. We want to show you in a real setting what it's like to get that machine up and running, and then how to hunt with it. We're going to do some segments showing you how to differentiate targets on each one, and in the future we'd like to show you guys how to get permissions, how to do, take that step forward from public access parks and beaches to actually relic hunting in areas that could be, full of history that no one else has touched yet. So I appreciate everyone watching, and it does mean a lot to us, and I hope that this video isn't, useless for all of the guys who have been in the sport for a while, because we really want to help everyone. But the most logical place for us to start is showing you how to get a detector, and their website cannot make it any easier. Add it to cart, it's secure checkout, you'll have no problems. But make sure if you are budget, shoot us an email down in the comments and we'll get back with you.
I hope that helped you guys out in the sense that you can see the range of detectors that you have as a starting detectorist. The Kellyco website is full of detectors from different brands that we didn't cover, and also full of other accessories and necessary items to get into the sport. But at the end of the day, the one thing you need to become a detectorist is a metal detector.
Right, and there's a lot of good ones out there, from the beginning level to the intermediate and to the professional, or in the hobby, I guess. And I mean, this is our opinion on what we feel and what we know of the machines that we've used, and
yeah, absolutely.
So we're not trying to offend anybody. So if we leave yours out, that doesn't mean that it's a bad detector. It's just the fact that we've never used it, so we can't really give any kind of credible feedback on it.
Yeah, I mean, we're a small channel. We're hoping to grow quickly, but at the end of the day, if I tell you something and I want to give you advice, I'm not going to speak if I don't understand the machine.
Exactly.
So anything we recommend, at least one person in our group loves that machine, and we know that you can find awesome relics with it.
Right, and I mean, and from my personal opinion, if you're just getting started out, first of all, you need to determine how much of the hobby that you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
If you're retired and you've got all kinds of free time on your hands, or have a job that allows you to have a lot of free time, You might want to go with a little bit beefier one or a little bit more experienced. But if you're going to spend any money to get into it, even if it sits in the closet as a closet decoration, I would recommend the Simplex, because it does basically everything that this one does. It's just not at the same level as the Equinox or some of the others. But the price point is unreal. For $250, you can have a intermediate detector that will go deep and will sort out, to some degree, it will differentiate targets. And I know a lot of people that use them. Marcus uses one.
Yep.
And he loves it. And he simply praises it.
Yeah, Marcus has a Garrett and a Racer 2, which is one of Knocker Macro's upper levels that we talked about earlier. And Marcus, time and time again, will go back to that Simplex and rave about how good it is. And over his other ones.
Over his more expensive ones. That's
so
exactly
all
right.
of this is a personal taste. Everyone out there who hunts, they have their own opinion and they have their own feelings. I know a lot of people use Amphibios, a lot of people use other Garretts that we didn't discuss today. But, like we said, we haven't used them, so it's hard for us to recommend something to you that I couldn't tell you in the comments how to, get through a problem if you're having it.
But for a price point of $250 or $350 with the wireless headphones, and I would recommend those because it really lets you hear the little bitty beeps and pulses that's in the ground. And, so if you're saving up for a detector or if that is in your budget, I would recommend the Simplex.
Absolutely.
For what it can do.
So before we head out today, I'd really like to take a second to talk about a piece of kit that we find as a group to be essential. Now, don't get me wrong, like I said, all you have to metal detect is a metal detector. But there's one addition that if you can afford it, because they do get a little pricey, if you can afford them, this piece of kit will save you countless hours every time you go home.
Exactly. And I mean, that's your pinpointer.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 3 different ones.
Yep.
And all 3 of them are really good. I personally use the TRX. It's made by White's, and White's just got bought out by Garrett.
Yep.
So
I'm interested to see what they're going to do now.
Yeah.
Because, I started off with the Garrett AT Max. So
and I started off with a White DFX.
So luckily, I got a pinpointer with my kit, so I started learning how to detect with one, and I can tell you that it has made my time so much easier.
Yeah, and I honestly never used one until he started using his.
Yeah.
And then I just had to have one.
I remember that first hunt that we went to the lake in the Sunny Hills, and you couldn't find that target, and I had to constantly run back and forth.
Yeah.
And then you went and bought one. I mean, and the options are endless, and for most companies, there's a pinpointer that corresponds with your brand. So I like the way that my Garrett Carrot, that's what they call the big orange Garrett pinpointer. I like the way that it acts, so that's why I use it still, even though I run an Equinox 800. But I mean, if you've got a Deus, like you can get one of the XP series, and they all work just the same, and they're unique in their own way, but they're a very handy tool.
Well, that one, the Deus one, will link up with the earphones of the Deus.
Yeah.
And you can hear your pinpoint.
Yeah, the Garrett will as well if you're running a Garrett. I believe the AT Pro and Max do this, but I know for a fact the Max does it. So.
In my personal opinion, in this order, just because I like the TRX because a lot of the sensitivity and the pinpointing is in the tip.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you go down there, you can use it like a pencil or a paintbrush and find it. And then the next would, in my opinion, would be the Garrett Carrot. Everybody has those. And they're good. They're good pinpointers. The Deus is more of a pulse indicator.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's got, I guess you would say, foreign noises and stuff like that I'm not used to.
It's definitely different, but I mean, none of us really run a Deus, and I just so happened to receive this one as a backup when I bought my machine. So, it's handy and it's nice, but I guarantee you that you guys out there who use a Deus will like this better than we will, just because you have your headphones set up. So. All right, everybody. Before we let you go, and after we've talked about some of the pieces of kit that we find to be essential, we'd like to take a second to talk about the machine that you and I both use religiously,
which is the Equinox 800.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've used a lot of good detectors, but to me, this is the best one on the market. It's got a mid-range price point between, say, the CTX 3030 and the Simplex.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to contact us and get this one, we can get you a good deal on it, and it'll range around, anywhere from 700 to 900. Mm-hmm. But to me, this is the best of the best. The target separation on this is like no other one that's to me that's on the market. You can go in where a dime is sitting right beside or on top of or underneath a dime and a nail, or together. And so this machine can take and separate those two targets, and it really goes deep. Right now, I think around 18 inches is the furthest that I've found a decent sized target.
Is that with your big coil?
That's with both.
Wow. Okay.
The stock 11-inch, and then I also have the 15-inch, which is right down there.
Mm-hmm.
It's of course according to the size and everything else. But you witnessed it yesterday. I found a little piece of a I guess it would be a snap button, at 8 inches, and it was ringing like it was going to be a silver.
Oh yeah, I mean, these machines are incredible, and if you make the investment and spend, don't get me wrong, this is an expensive metal detector.
But you'll never need another.
You'll never need another, and Minelab has some incredible customer service. I mean, you've had 2 issues with coils lately that I would attribute to just the fact that we hunt so hard.
Right.
But they've replaced it without a question,
and
paid for shipping.
It's a couple of days to get it back, and the Equinox 800 to me is, like I say, the best all around. And then they make the 600, which is equally as good.
Yeah.
There's just some things that the 600 can't do that the 800, and that's if you were to go up north and try to metal detect or go into where it's an iron wrench soil. It doesn't discriminate
as
like,
well.
Like the 800.
What's so cool about the 800 as well, once you buy this, Minelab updates their software regularly. You can go online and download updates for this as they release them. And they release new modes, new frequencies to detect that. Yeah. It's incredible.
And they just released that 4 kilohertz, which is supposed to be really great on silver.
And it's free.
Yeah.
So once you make this investment, it's something that will stick with you for a very long time. And it's one of my proudest possessions.
And like I say, we all pretty much have them, and that's my go-to. We have our backups and stuff like that we feel just as confident in. But I know that if it's in the ground, I can find it with that machine.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for sticking with us this long. We hope that this helped. And next week, we have a very special treat. For episode 2 of the How to Hunt series, we're going to take you out to a place that anyone can get permission to, and we're going to show you how to use the machines that we talked about in this video. If let's say that you go out and after this you're invigorated and you want to buy one, you get one. Next week we're going to teach you how to use it.
At least the way we use it.
Yeah, at least the way we're used to doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you hit that notification bell, then you'll be right with us next week for when the new episode comes out.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys.